At the beginning of the story, we see the future. This is the time when everything is very advanced and modern. We see a girl named Sandra who is traveling in a very advanced car with her 2-year-old son. Her husband has gifted this car to Sandra, and now she is going to her mother-in-law's house with her son. Now Sandra has started checking the features of this car, which are very advanced and amazing. She finds out that it's AI that is very advanced and powerful. She sees that her husband had traveled in this car before her, where he had gone to a hotel with some of his friends. There was also a girl with him. Seeing this, Sandra found it very strange. She starts doubting her husband, and then she gets a video call from her husband where he tells her that there is an application. For this car, its name is Monolith. I have downloaded it on your phone. It is the main application of this car. So now you can control this car from your phone as well. Sandra finds out that her husband is in a hotel when someone knocks on the door of her hotel room. Then her husband cuts the phone and goes to open the door. And now Sandra's doubt became more clear, that her husband has a relationship with someone else. On the way, Sandra stops in a storeroom to buy some things. She went inside the store with her son. Then she sees that someone is peeping inside her car, but because she can control her car with her phone, that's why she quickly took the phone. She turns on the car's vault mode here, so that no one can go inside the car like a bunker. Then Sandra starts shopping there. She sees that her son is not here. She got very scared by this. She starts looking for her son everywhere. Her son had asthma, which is a respiratory disease. And now when she goes out, she sees that some girls are playing with his son. Seeing her son, she was getting angry at the girls. She quickly picked up her son and started moving towards the car. Then she quickly takes her son and sits in the car, and turns on the car's vault mode. Then after a while, she takes her son away from her. Then Sandra calls her best friend. Her friend told her that I was in a hotel room right now. I am here with my friend, whom I like. Here Sandra thinks that my friend is with my husband. These two are having an affair. Sandra then realized that someone was sitting next to my friend. That's why she tells her friend a lot, to show me the face of your friend, whom you like. But her friend was very surprised to hear this. She doesn't show her face and hangs up the phone. Sandra got very angry with this. Here, her suspicion completely changed to belief. In a while, she also reached the house of the mother-in-law. But now she has decided that instead of going home, she will go to the hotel where her husband's friends are, and now she starts driving her car at full speed. The car's AI tells her that there has been an accident ahead. That's why we should go from the other road. But because Sandra had to go to the hotel as soon as possible, that's why she told the AI to tell her the shortest way. When the AI tells her the shortcut, she takes her car and drives on the same shortcut. She was driving very fast because this place was a desert area. It was very dark all around. That's why she couldn't see anything properly. And now Sandra, who has a lot of tension, starts smoking a cigarette. The smoke of the cigarette started hitting the AI, as if there was a fire in the car. That's why he turns on the emergency mode of the car. Sandra also told the AI that I had only smoked a cigarette. There was no fire here, but the AI doesn't understand her. That's why Sandra manually controls the entire system of the car. That means she takes control of the car in her hands. That means now she was going to drive it on her own. That's when Sandra's son started coughing. Because he couldn't stand the smoke, he was having trouble breathing. That's why Sandra throws her cigarette out of the car, and because her son was crying, she gave him her mobile, and then suddenly something bumps into the car, which stops the car. It was found out here that this car is so strong that if it is dropped from the top of the mountain, then nothing will happen to it. And now here, although Sandra didn't want to get out of the car, she still got out to see what happened in front of the car, which is now pressed under the car. She came out of the car because the entire system of the car was now manual. She sees that there is a deer under her car. Now her son who was sitting inside the car, opens the Monolith app on Sandra's mobile and accidentally turns on the vault mode in the bunker. Due to this, the car is completely locked again. This was a big problem, because it meant that now no one could go out of the car, and no one could come inside the car with a bullet. Seeing this, Sandra got very scared. She comes close to the car quickly. She started looking at her son, who was fine now. She starts thinking about how to open the car door now. She tries to open it with the tweezers of the tree, but there is no use. Sandra sees that my son has still opened the same application. Unconsciously, she tries to explain to him that somehow turns off the vault mode, but the child was only 2 years old, so she couldn't understand these things. Suddenly, her son's mobile falls from his hand, and now he can't even pick up the phone because he was wearing a seatbelt, and now the child could not even open his seatbelt outside. Sandra gets very worried. She picks up a stone and tries to break the car's glass. But this was the strongest and safest car in the world, so it was impossible to break its glass. Sandra gets very scared. She remembers that she saw a powerhouse behind her. So she runs quickly and goes there to ask for help, but there is no one there. There was also a phone there. Sandra picks it up and starts asking for help, but she found out that this phone was also broken. So once again she started going towards the car. But she realized that there was an animal around me. She got very scared and ran away quickly. She sits on the roof of the car. When she looked around, there was an animal behind her, but he was not going to leave her so easily. He starts roaming around the car to catch Sandra. Seeing this, Sandra gets an idea. She hits the car hard with an axe. The car's alarm starts ringing. Hearing its loud noise, the animal runs away from there, and so the night passed. As soon as morning came, Sandra saw that the place where my car was parked was far away. It's just a desert, which means that she can't get any help from around. Then she remembered that I had also seen an airport board on the way. She thinks that I can get help from there, and she is a little relieved. But now the temperature outside is increasing a lot. While in the car, her son was wearing very thick clothes. Because of this, she feels very hot. The child is crying with anxiety. Sandra doesn't understand what to do. How can I help her in these circumstances? She remembered. She takes off her jacket and puts it on the sunroof, because the sun was going in through the top window, and the child was feeling hot. And now Sandra starts moving towards the airport. Even after walking for many hours, she doesn't see any sign of the airport. Poor thing was very tired. She was also feeling very thirsty. Because of this, her condition was getting worse, but fortunately, she finds a river here. Sandra drinks a lot of water there because of the heat. She also puts it on herself. Because of this, her condition got a little better. And once again, she starts moving forward. And after a while, she reaches the airport. But when she came here, she saw that this airport was deserted, where there is nothing but some broken planes. She went inside the plane. She picks up the radio so that she can get help through it. But unfortunately, this radio breaks. She found a bottle here, with which she gets off the plane. She also burned the planes to tires, after which she moved forward. She burned the tires so that someone would come to help her by giving fire and smoke there. Sandra now came to the river with the bottle. From there she starts pouring a lot of water. As soon as she reached her car, she saw that my jacket, which I had put on the sunroof, had fallen. Seeing this, she got scared. She starts worrying about her child. That's why she starts running towards the car. She comes near the car and sees that because of the heat, my son has fainted. Also, his condition is very bad. That's why she puts the water she brought with her in the car, so that the temperature can be a little lower. Although the car's fan was on, but because of the lack of AC, her child felt so hot that he fainted. Here Sandra got an idea: the front of the car. The front side where ventilation is there, air goes inside. There she puts fire and creates smoke, so that the smoke goes inside and the car opens its windows, but nothing like this happens. It is reversed. When the smoke goes inside, the car's automatic system closes the ventilation to open the windows, due to a little bit of air that was going inside earlier. It also stops going now. Because of this, Sandra looks very sad and crying. She was so worried that she immediately attacked the car with a hammer. Many times she hit the car with a hammer, but she didn't even get a scratch on it. Due to this, it became clear that this car cannot be broken in any way, and now Sandra gets completely tired and lies down there. After which it was shown that a few years have passed in the story, where Sandra comes to this place with her husband, because her son died in the accident of that car, after which Sandra had buried him here. Here her husband says that you have killed our child. You had locked him inside the car. After hearing this, Sandra starts crying a lot, and suddenly Sandra opens her eyes, because she was only seeing all this in a dream. She immediately thought of her child. She comes near the car and sees that my son is sitting in the same position. He is not moving at all. He is sitting like a stone. Sandra's eyes were seeing pain, because she understood that now my son is dead. He is no longer with us in this world. Now being sad, she tells her child that you will go straight to heaven, while I will go to hell. She was crying, but suddenly she sees that my child's fingers are shaking. Because of this, her life is in danger. Thank God my child is alive. Now he was alive, but his condition was very bad. Sandra was also seeing her child. Then that animal came again, attacks her. Then to save her, Sandra gets in the car again. But because the car was too hot, so she gets off quickly and comes under the car. But here too that animal comes and attacks her. But in a short while, Sandra realized that the deer trapped under the car had come for her. So she throws the deer in front of the animal. And now as the deer moves away, the car starts moving backwards. Seeing this, Sandra got up quickly. She stood behind the car and stopped her. Then she also put a stone support so that the car does not go back, because there was a hole there. And now a car came to Sandra's mind. She thinks, why not throw the car from top to bottom, so that the AI system of the car will be convinced that there was a real accident. That's why he will open the doors, because he had also heard about it from the company. Also, he was convinced of this, because this car is very strong. So even after throwing the car from top to bottom, nothing will happen to his child. And now Sandra does the same. She first removes the stone, then pushes the car and throws it in the hole. And now when the car was in the air, so the AI system found out that the car was in the air, which means that the car has had an accident. That's why the car turns on its motion sensor, which means that the car automatically comes into balance and lands on the ground straight. There was only smoke around. Sandra came down quickly. She is very scared to see the smoke, but as soon as she came close to the car, she was very surprised to see that the car landed so safely. And a good thing. Now the door was also open, because the car was designed in such a way that is when it feels that the car has had an accident, it will automatically open its door, which means that the doors will be unlocked. And now Sandra takes her son out of the car. She takes off all his clothes and sits him in the shade, so that he feels cool. But still, the child's condition was very bad, while the car reboots itself once again. And now as soon as the car reboots, she can walk again. That's why Sandra quickly took her child and sat in the car. As soon as she turns off one of the car's modes, the car's tires fly away. There was a rock in front of Sandra, on which she starts walking without fear, because she knew that this car could easily run on any road. And now Sandra speeds up the car. After crossing a lot of difficult rocks, finally, she reaches the main road. From there, Sandra directly took her son to the hospital, and in a short while, his child becomes completely normal. And in this way, Sandra saved her child's life. with which she becomes very happy, thinking that finally today, I have fulfilled the duty of being a mother. I did what I could for my child. Sandra also confirmed that my husband is cheating on me, and he is related to my friend. And now she will decide whether I want to live with my husband or not. Or she will spend the rest of her life with her child. With this, the story of this movie ends here.